Inner Circle, welcome back to my channel. I'm Latrina, and today I want to share a chapter from my book that is near and dear to my heart. They showed up when it mattered, which is chapter 9, if you have read the book. If not, the name of the book is Thriving Through the Unexpected, Finding Hope in Dark Places. I'll also talk about that later in the video, so stay tuned. This is a chapter in my life where I talk about people who were neighborhood role models. They weren't just teachers, mentors, or friends. They were actually my lifelines. Ordinary people who showed up in extraordinary ways is the best way that I can explain it. Growing up on the west side of Chicago, oh God, had its challenges. But I have to say one of the greatest things that I did experience as a child were the role models in my neighborhood, and especially in my schools. I attended a school by the name of Matthew A. Henson, which no longer exists, and I'm so sad because it was one of the best schools on the west side of Chicago, according to my views or my perspective. We had teachers and staff who didn't just show up for a paycheck, they showed up because they genuinely cared about us. And one of the teachers who I remember the most is Mr. Williams. He was my 8th grade teacher. And rest in peace to Mr. Williams. He's gone on the other side to be with the Lord. But he was one of the teachers who instilled music in me. Like, he was very passionate about music. You can tell when we were getting ready to approach the holidays like Christmas, Thanksgiving, because when you entered that school and you were going up the stairs, you were likely to hear him playing that piano, different songs that he would, sing to. And he introduced us to music and different genres. He introduced gospel to us, R&B sometimes, Christmas carols, like all the things we were exposed to as children in his class. And I'm forever grateful for him because he exposed us to even gospel music. He would sing hymnals. He would sometimes, catch prayer, going on mentions of God. And I'm grateful because I grew up in a household where God was not talked about. I grew up where I never saw a Bible in my home. I never saw anybody pray. I never even really heard anybody talking about God. So God was not a big influence in my household. So just being exposed in his classroom, and even in those little glimpses, meant the world. And it would help me along as I would progress through life as an adult and help me navigate through things that I didn't even know that I was getting ready to experience. So I'm forever grateful for him. So thank you, Mr. Williams. The next person I'm going to talk about is Miss Ott. Miss Ott was my 7th grade teacher. She was a no-nonsense, strict teacher. I remember her because she always wore these skirts, and she was, her classroom was housed on the 3rd floor, just like Mr. Williams. And she was even though she was strict, she was very compassionate about her students. She wanted to make sure that we were successful in every area of our lives. And she was sure to instill in us that we needed to become productive members of society once we left like high school, her class, just the building blocks of how to become a productive member of society. And I never forget, I was at a park. I was visiting my mom for the weekend, and I had met some boy at the park because I was swinging on a swing, and he had introduced himself. And as we were talking, this car pulls up on the other side of the street across from the park, and lo and behold, she gets out. And so my eyes got big, her eyes got big, and I never knew that she lived like right around the corner from my mom. And so it was a silence. I never told any students or anybody where she lived. We never even like uttered that we saw each other that weekend. But the crazy part is her nephew and I became really, really good friends. So small world, right? But she was one of the best teachers who instilled a lot of morals and values in me as well. So forever grateful for you too, Ms. Ott. Thank you. And last but not least, I'm going to talk about Mr. Cockrell. Mr. Cockrell was our security guard and our basketball coach. He would sit at the front door to conduct traffic for anybody that was coming in and out of the school. And he cared about us as well. I never forget the day I walked down the stairs because I was crying because students were teasing me about wearing Payless shoes. And I was crying like the ugly cry, real hard. Hardly able to breathe and all the things. And I never forget, he stopped me and was like, hey, like, what's going on with you? Because I was a pretty good kid, straight A student in school. And he was like, hey, what's going on with you? And I kind of, was barely able to tell him because I was crying so hard. And so he actually sat me down at his desk and he allowed me to calm down, stop crying. So I was able to tell him. And while looking at him, trying to tell him, it not only showed he was listening, it showed that he really cared. And he didn't just want to like hurry up and wait, get this out type of situation. He really wanted to know like what was going on with me, what transpired, how did I get to this point, how can he fix it? And so when I finally told him, I never knew to the point where, it touched his heart. But within the next week or so, maybe even two to 3 weeks, I never forget, he took me to this shoe store in Madison and Pulaski, and he bought me my first pair of name brand shoes. They were, I never forget, blue and white Bo Jacksons. And I remember tying up those shoes, and they made me stand so tall. I felt so tall. And not because they were name brand. I felt like somebody finally saw me. Somebody finally heard me. Somebody finally paid attention. And that gesture alone has been in my life, or in my heart, I should say, just as a kid growing up through life. I never forgot that kind gesture, because people don't have to be kind. And I'm so grateful for him for stopping in that moment, seeing what was going on with me. And he, not only that, he took money out of his own pocket to make sure that I didn't have that or experience that feeling again. So thank you for that, Cockwell. And that's why I had to publicly thank you in my book, because you probably don't even remember even buying the shoes if you ever see this video. But it left a huge, huge impression and imprint on my heart. So forever grateful for you. Because, sometimes when we're growing up, we feel like that we're alone, and we're not alone. Like, God puts people on our path to shape us in different ways, to interact with us, and to do different things. And they don't always have to be blood. They can be people that shows up as earthly angels, and that's all they're here to do, is just do God's work and bring compassion, bring positivity, keep people optimistic, versus what the world portrays. Like, it's still some really good people out here. So forever grateful for him, Mr. Williams, Miss Ott, Mr. White, Miss Porter, Mr. Porter, Miss Bradley, Miss Bailey, Miss Oliver. It's so many. And if I did not mention people, like, if you ever see this video, please charge it to my head and not to my heart, because there was so many people in that school that actually really, really cared about us and, instill good morals, good values. And I'm forever grateful for each and every one of you. So thank you. But back to what we were talking about. That's the reason why I did take a time to dedicate neighborhood role models and people who did show up for me in extraordinary ways when they didn't have to, because we need more of that in this world. So today I want to ask you, who is a person that showed up for you the most? Is there somebody that comes to mind that you remember, like, yeah, I remember that person showed up for me? If it is someone that showed up for you in extraordinary ways, I want you to take a moment to just think about them, journal about them, possibly even send them a letter if you can, just to say thank you. Because when you do that, gratitude goes a long way, and it shifts people's heart. And it matters, because people want to know that they made a difference, especially when it's in a positive way. So I will always say, definitely, if you can thank people, thank them right then and there. Or if time does not permit, definitely take time to thank them at a later time. They would definitely appreciate you for it. And also, if you've been that person to impact somebody in that way, just know that your kind gesture would affect them for the rest of their lives. As you can see, I'm still bringing up things that happened to me when I was in elementary school. I'm in my 40s now, and I still remember people who made a huge impact in my life. So it doesn't go unnoticed. I promise you it doesn't. And just try to be kind as much as you can, because being kind is free. It doesn't cost anything. It's not expensive. And if we can get more kindness in this world will be a better place. But anywho, I done ran off on a tangent. If this video resonated with you, please like, share, and subscribe, and comment below in the video of how somebody that you know impacted you. And maybe one day they'll come across this video, remember, like, I remember, I did that for that person. Wow, they still remember. And then I'm sure they'll have like a smile across their face. So definitely comment below if you are feeling that you're able to and want to be transparent about your situation as well. But also, if you would like to read the entire chapter or even possibly the book, like I said in the beginning, the name of the book is Thriving Through the Unexpected, Finding Hope in Dark Places. It can be found on Amazon and it is ready for you to click and add to your cart and have it shipped to you. Shameless plug, right? But anywho, thank you for hanging out with me today. I really appreciate you all hanging out with me. If this video resonated, just remember to keep rising, keep shining, and keep thriving. Until next time, Sunflower Circle, take care. Bye.